Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I want to use the Dior Glow Vibes collection, and I'm going to go into the palette called Blue Beat. Now, I've already created a look with this palette, but I created something that I called the cotton candy look, where I used the pink and some of the blues. But today I'm going to go ahead and use only the blue shadows. So the teal, this light blue, and this other green one over here. I'm going to focus on just these bottom shadows here. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. So to emphasize this blue teal effect, I'm going to go into my Chanel Stylos Yeux. I have the shade 946 Intense Teal, but if you have more of a blue instead of a teal, I think this would also work, or even a green. I think I just want to go ahead and pull on that shade range. So we're just going to go ahead and create a very thin line on the top here, and we're also going to go in the waterline on the top as well. Now, using one of the little sponge tip applicators that came in the palette here, I'm going to go into the more tapered edge here and just take this teal color and drag it over top of the liner. So I have seen a couple promo photos on Instagram of the Dior summer collection. I saw one palette that looked very similar to last year's, just in the warm tone golden bronzy effect. Those are very beautiful colors and they are very summer, but I just feel like I have so many colors like that and I have so many good ones. So I'm not sure if that's really going to be for me this summer. But we'll see. We'll see the colors and we'll see the swatches. I'm going to go ahead and just very gently flick up here. I'm noticing a very small amount of fallout underneath here. That's okay, we're going to clean this up after. So now I'm going to go into that more minty green color with a flat brush and just pack some of that on the mobile lid. But you know what I mean about the summer collections always being warm toned bronze colors. Like, those are pretty. I love them. They look great. But you know, sometimes you just want something a bit different. But I also saw another promo photo online for Dior, but this one I have no idea what it's for. I'm not sure if it's for the summer collection or what it is, but it's a new Dior 5 shadow palette with blues, but not these types of blues, like more saturated darker blues. So I don't know when that will come out. If that's part of the summer collection, I'd be very happy. I'm also going over top of the liner and shadow that we placed earlier, but it's okay, we can go ahead and just fix that afterwards. We are currently having a snowstorm in Montreal, which is so shocking because a few days ago, I think last week or last weekend, it was so beautiful. It was like 6 or 8 degrees. I thought it was summer. I was like, okay, it's here. Spring and summer is finally here. Clearly I was wrong, but you know, a girl can dream. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a big fluffy brush just to buff this out a bit, because I don't want the beautiful mint color to just stop at a halt. I kind of want it to be a bit more gradual. So since this palette does not have any matte shades, I'm going to go ahead and dip into my Chantecaille Cool Toned palette, because there is this nice kind of taupey color. I'm going to go ahead and just place this in the crease just to, you know, help with the blending. I feel like this mint color is having a hard time staying opaque. Like, I'm applying it, but it's not as true to color from the palette. Like, I feel like I have to keep packing on more of this mint shade for it to stay that minty. I feel like this is definitely not my favorite Dior palette, unfortunately. I feel like I mentioned this in the last video, but I feel like the quality is different. It's not the same sort of like buttery satin finish that a lot of their palettes usually are. And someone was mentioning that maybe it's because a lot of these are pastels. And I feel like I've definitely encountered a lot of pastel shadows that feel a bit more chalky and not as like buttery and creamy. So maybe that's it, but it's still a bit disappointing because it is Dior, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and mix in a bit of this light blue color on top as well. Okay, let's go ahead and just clean up the eyes because it's a bit of a mess right now. I'm gonna go ahead and use a bit of eye cream and just clean up underneath here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my foundation. I'm gonna go into my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 5.5. I'm very curious to test out the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. I'm a bit surprised they never came out with a concealer earlier because oftentimes when they have a foundation, they come out with a matching concealer or vice versa. But I don't think it's available in Canada yet. I haven't seen it. I mean, I can go check on Sephora, but I don't think it's available here yet. So for the concealer, I'm gonna go into my NARS Creamy Radiant. I'm in the shade Medium 1 Custard. So we are going to Seattle in a few weeks, and I'm very excited because I've never been, and it'll be fun to, change up the weather and not be covered in snow. But I'm also very excited for the most mundane reasons. I'm excited to go to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's, and we do not have a Trader Joe's in Montreal. I think there's Whole Foods in Toronto, but I live in Montreal and we don't have a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's. But in my opinion, Trader Joe's is the best. And also Target. We don't have Target in Canada. We did. So several years ago, Target opened in Canada very aggressively. They opened up a store in basically any medium-sized city in Canada, and a year later they all went bankrupt. The Target in Canada went bankrupt. They just folded up. I remember going to Target here and always being so disappointed because there was nothing on the shelves. I think they had some sort of issues with merchandising, or I don't know what the issue was, but they weren't able to keep any stock on the shelves, or they weren't able to receive the shipments on time. So whenever I would go check out the cosmetics, obviously, but even other departments, the shelves were always half empty, and it just looked terrible. It looked so depressing. And I prefer Target so much more than Walmart because I feel Walmart is just so that one is very depressing. When you walk in, I don't know, maybe there's some nice Walmarts near you, but a lot of them are I feel the closest possible thing we could have remotely to a Target here in Canada is Shoppers Drug Mart or Pharmaprix. It's a really big pharmacy franchise. It's similar to Boots in the UK. So it's a pharmacy, but you have, depending on the store, they have a gigantic cosmetic section. Sometimes they sell food. The one near me has a small grocery section and prepared foods, and you can buy anything for your home, not furniture, but you can buy cleaning supplies, you can buy random things like that. So I feel that's the closest substitute that I have for Target is Shoppers Drug Mart or Pharmaprix. So for the bronzer, I'm going to go into my Givenchy Healthy Glow Powder in number 3, Amber Season. And then for the blush, I'm going to go into my NARS Orgasm blush. I feel as an adult, when I say that I'm going out to run errands, I usually mean I'm going out to get a coffee and I'm going to go smell some scented candles. That's what I mean. And that's why I need a Target, because it would, fulfill all my needs. But I can do most of that at a Pharmaprix. I'm just going to go back into the palette into the lightest shade, and I'm going to place a little bit of this on the inner corner here. I'm going to go back into my liner from before and just add a little bit more on top just to make sure it stands out a bit more. And I'm going to go ahead and finish up the eye look with my Chanel Volume Mascara. I can't wait to see that new Volume Stretch Mascara. There's apparently a new incarnation of the Volume Mascara. It's available in Europe and in the US. Who knows when it'll be available here, but I will definitely give it a try. Even though every time they come out with a new version of the Volume, it's never as good as the original, but I'm always willing to give it a try. So for the lips, I'm going to go ahead and fill in my lips with this Chanel lip liner. This is number 172 Bois de Rose. It's the most perfect everyday pinky nude. And then I'm going to go into my Chanel Rouge Coco Flash number 82 Live or Live. Okay, this is the finished look. I feel this pastel eye look kind of reminds me of the 1960s or maybe the 80s. I don't know. It is cute, it is spring, but this palette is not the best one that Dior has ever come out with. I was able to work it and blend it out eventually, but not my favorite. I think that if you absolutely love this color scheme, if you have to have it, if you're a collector, go ahead. But if you're kind of on the fence, I would say wait for the next collection. It's not like the most amazing. I think that there are other products in the collection that were better. For example, the lip oils that just came out I think are amazing. I have one, I have the shade called Cherry, and I think it's really great. To me, it's like replaced the Lip Addict or the Lip Maximizer. I think it's much better, but yeah. These are just my thoughts on these items here. All right, guys, I think this is the finished look. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of today's video and what you think of the entire spring collection from Dior. Did you get it? Did you skip it? Let me know. So if you happen to enjoy today's video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Those are all things that help my channel grow. And if you're new to my channel, if you're new here, whenever I get a collection, I like to create several different looks with the same items. That way, you at home really get a good sense of how to use up everything at home. And I also like to mix and match with older collections and sometimes from different brands just to see how it can work thoroughly. And anyway, if that's interesting to you, please subscribe and you can hit the notification bell on the side. That way you can be notified whenever I post a new video. But anyway, I think this is all I have for you guys for today. So thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you have a beautiful day and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.